What's up, folks? How y'all doing? Hope you're having a good day. If you're watching this at night, hope you've had a good day. First, excuse how the roughness that's going on with your brother. It's haircut week, so I kind of let it go during that time during haircut week because I want to get every dollar out of that barber. So you better come with your rider mower, your push mower, your hedge clippers, your edger, some scissors, to tackle this. You're gonna charge me what you charge me. I'm gonna milk it. I'm gonna get every penny out of what you charge me. But anyway, this ain't about that. This is a conversation about just building quality relationships. And understanding that you get out what you put in. We understand that premise about so many other facets of our life, career, education, finances, and all that different stuff, investing. We understand that to be successful, you have to what you invest is what you get a return out of. You can't put in $1 into a stock and it turn to $1 million, unless it's a penny stock and it just take off. But in reality, in most cases, you're not just going to invest $1. It's not a low cost of entry for a high return for many things. But yet we expect our relationships to be like that. We get in relationships. You go through the initial dating, courtship, lead to marriage, and in this video, marriage and long-term relationships are interchangeable. So if I'm talking about one, I'm talking about the other, because not everybody gets married, and I understand that. But to my core, the bubble I grew up around was marriages. Long-term, sustained marriages. Then a lot of those folks are now in their elder years and still together, still and look more in love than ever. Now, for full transparency, my parents didn't make it. After 21 years, they end up divorcing, and that's their story. However, to my foundation, I grew up around marriages. And I saw them at play. I saw them at work. And the state of relationships nowadays is that, never mind what all, you kind of have to go into, you kind of have to have in mind, you're going to go through, so you're going to have spats, you're going to have disagreements. Hopefully you batting at a good 75% between peaks and valleys. Hopefully you have more 75% peak than and 25% valley. But understand you're gonna have some valleys, and you're gonna work through them or have to work through them. But it just seems like nobody is willing to put all that into a romantic relationship anymore. Your marriage or your long term. To me, that should be a priority in your life. The person that you're spending your life with should be a priority in your life. And oftentimes, you look at somebody's just social media bio, they may mention they're married or with somebody, and if they do mention, it's at the bottom of a list of other things. A PhD, a master's, or whatever education is, whatever the career is, PhD, neurological surgeon, mother or father of Scholar and Chase, whatever school alum. Then it may say husband, wife. And you don't even put husband and wife to who. It's just husband, wife. Now you put mother, father of Scholar and Chase. You put names on your children, but you may, husband, wife, and people just aren't investing in their relationships no more. They're not making the conscious decision to prioritize the health and well-being of their relationship. And during that time, you may be together for a long time, but you become more adversarial. You start off as teammates, and then you end up on opposing sidelines fighting over the line of scrimmage, to use a football analogy. And it seems that we'll pour more into our friendships than we do our romantic relationship. We make sure we stay connected to friends, and even cause if you have close cousins and stuff like that, we'll make sure we keep those attachments in play, or work to keep those alive. But we come home each and every day and just kind of look at each other and just assume presence, or assume that person's state. And we put so much in front, prioritize so much, become singularly focused on so many other things other than our relationships. We get so tied into career advancement, career development, entrepreneurial pursuits, hobbies and other clubs and stuff that we get into. We come home, that's on the tips of our tongue. It's all we talk about, it's all we focus on. We take on those things as our identity. You take your educational accomplishments as your identity. You take on your career accomplishments as your identity. You take your business acumen or your business endeavors as your identity. But you don't take on being a husband and wife as your identity, or the mate of Samantha or the mate of Tim as your identity. And so that relationship falls further and further down the pecking order. A premise that that's always been nonsensical to me. I get the premise, but it's just nonsensical to me, is that same person who is pursuing, who is ambitious career-wise or business-wise, and then they reach their, the pinnacle of success. They reach they achieve their goals, and more power to you. But then they look at their mate who they've been with, from the beginning, since before the vision was implanted in them, and then they'll say, you don't fit in my life no more. And I'm just like, how does this person that you build a life with, supposed to be, don't fit in your life no more? Were you that singularly focused on accomplishing that you allowed y'all to grow apart? Because why weren't y'all growing together? As you grow, they grow. Like, how does that happen? How does were you that selfish that all you concerned yourself with was getting this done, and relegated them to just being a bystander while you did that, neglecting the support and encouragement and all that kind of stuff? But now they don't fit in your life no more. Or you fall out of love with each other. I get the premise, but it's still nonsensical, because love is a choice you make every single day. So at what point did you stop choosing them to fall out of love? Because those two things happen when you stop making you stop making your relationship, your marriage, your priority, and you stop investing in that relationship. You're sprinkling your ducats around and everything else you to find fulfillment in. You're pouring more into all that other stuff, and you stop pouring into your relationship. That's how you fall out of love. That's how they no longer fit in your life. And that's not the, sometimes people flex about the weirdest things, but that's more, to me, let's say y'all in that relationship and you're back out there on the market, you back out there in the world, and that conversation will come up. Well, what happened with you and your last relationship or whatever? That to me would be a red flag to anybody who's pursuing you. So how you got to a position where you stop loving them? How you get to a position where this person who you grew with, or started with, or whatever, was on your journey, then you no longer fit in your life? Like, are people that replaceable to you on that level? We ain't not talking about affiliates and associates and all these other, lower level bonds. We're talking about a mate, a life partner. That's just so interchangeable to you? Steve didn't fit, so I'm gonna slide Chad in because he dresses better. He's on my level. She's on my level. This is the type of woman I should be with, aesthetically. How does that happen? Why didn't y'all grow together? Why wasn't this person a part of your journey, a part of the ride? Why wasn't in mind that, first of all, what wasn't in mind that I'm doing this for us anyway? Not just me, for us. Our children, you know, are placed higher. I've always had this premise, man. Your kids leave you eventually. You get 18, 21, 25 years, 27, that's a little weird, but the first 25 years, you know, you may be heavily involved in your kids' life, but your kids should never be your top priority. Take care of them. Make sure, you know, you're doing your best to support and to provide the means necessary, but your kids should never be your priority. Kids leave you. They're designed to leave, not designed to put your hooks in and ride that forever. And so we have to get back to investing properly to get what we want out of it. You know, this conversation too come up, you know, where a couple struggling, married couple struggling, not staying together for the kids. Again, it's something I get on the surface, but it's nonsensical to me. Now, I'm not saying, now if you're truly in a situation where you get knocked upside your head, you know, abusive situation, habitual cheating and not respecting the relationship, you know, even in the Bible allows allowances for divorce, adultery, abandonment, abuse, those type things, but just the bland, irreconcilable differences. We just not get along no more. We just not seeing eye to eye no more. I believe it does children more value to see their parents work through stuff, to give them more realistic outlook on what being with somebody means and how to overcome adversity. Because it's a hard lesson of, well, if you love somebody, and the way we teach love, if you love somebody, how can you not want to fix it with them? How do you reach a point where you don't want to fix it with this person, but you love them? Those are lessons that kids and probably the generation before haven't seen, aren't learning, aren't seeing being practiced. I recognize the bubble I grew up in is a rare bubble. The more I live, the more I've met people, different types of people from different backgrounds and childhood situations. And so they never saw or haven't seen regularly enough people work it out. People get through that tough season to be better on the back end. You know, I think it was Michelle Obama, I think it was a few years ago, like some years after they left the White House. And she said something that just stuck with me, man. She was like, you know, you together for 20 years and you divorce over one bad year. 1/20th of the time, y'all, 5%, people divorcing and breaking up over 5% of their married life. 5% of that relationship wasn't the best, wasn't all sunshine, and you're breaking up over 5%. Disregard the 95%. Disregard the 95% of partnership, of love, of encouragement, of support, raising children, growth and elevation, and all that. Disregard the 95%. They're divorcing over 5. We'll take those odds in any other venture. That's a home run with any other venture. Business, academia, finances, investment. We'll take a 95% return on any investment, except our relationship. from March to March of a calendar year. Oh, we're just bad this year. I don't think I could do it. March, the issues start. By September, you're ready to walk out the door. It's finalized the following March. But you've been together for 20 years. Now, what happens oftentimes is we allow things to bubble up and fester over the years. And we don't speak our piece until we already arguing about something else. Now, what comes with, I'm tired of having to remind you to do XYZ, turns to, well, you make me feel like that. You've been feeling like that for 3 years. Haven't spoke on it so that y'all can work it out and work through it. Or so that the person is even aware this is how you feel. And now it's coming out in another relationship. And now you're more likely and more prone to not even hear each other because you're arguing and you're on the defense. You get out what you put in. So you have to put in effective communication. You have to put in open floor to express your feelings. You have to put in a listening ear so that you can get out a listening ear. You have to put in patience. You have to put in serving each other. You have to put in prioritizing each other. You have to put in continue to date each other. You have to put in propping up each other in your lives. You have to put in leading with, in your intro, hey, when somebody asks you, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, first things first, I'm a husband. I'm a wife. First things first, I'm a husband and a father. Then I like kayaking and swimming. Then get into your your educational accomplishments or your business stuff or your or what you identify in your or whatever levels you are in your career. And not treat our relationships as an afterthought, as I got a wife. Or people got to ask, are you married? Yeah, I've been married for 15 years. Well, dang. I got to ask you before that even come up. You voluntarily give everything else. But I got to ask you, are you with somebody? Because you sure didn't lead with it. Conversation went on. We have to invest to get the type of relationships we want, to get the kind of sustainability that we want. We have to invest. We have to be active participants in our relationships. And the same thought or the same effort we're willing to put into anything else we want to be successful, we got to do that for our relationships. And we got to do that for our relationships first. Life is so much greater, so much more enriching going through it with somebody. Having that safety net, that somebody is there for you, somebody that got your back, somebody that is rooting for you, somebody that is enjoying this thing with you. Stop being so quick to run at hard times. Again, if you get knocked upside your head, man, or woman, person, if they have an unrepentant heart for any error against you, because people gonna mess up, but if they have an unrepentant heart, it's just thing after thing after thing. But for some of the other stuff we allow to fester up, to drive us away from each other, that suddenly become a part of the argument when we weren't even talking about that comes from not properly investing in your relationship. That comes from continuing to put your relationship on the back burner, lower down the totem pole, and now all of a sudden y'all adversaries fighting over the line of scrimmage. I root for everybody. It truly breaks my heart to see people who've been together for a while suddenly break up, and the best they can give is, I did this for me, whatever that means, whatever vagueness they give you. And it ain't our business to know the nuts and bolts of everything, but I feel like if you're gonna share, then share. That's just me though. I root for everybody, and I hope y'all root for me. I want to see us all make it. I want to see us all happy and in love and with the type of relationship and companionship that we desire. But to get what you desire, just know you got to work. To get what you desire, it's a continuous investment.